Okay, hi everyone. So today I'm just going to try and show you a few little things. Basically how to obtain census tract boundary files from either McGill or Concordia. So something that you should be comfortable with when you're going to be trying to obtain either geospatial information or census information or anything like that is that you may have to, if you're working from home like I am right now, connect with Concordia's VPN. So it has something which they've set up. You can download a specific program, and basically it's like if you were working from the library at Concordia or from the geography department. So you'll have access to all the resources that normally would be restricted access. This also goes for downloading academic papers and things like that. So this is something which can be very important and very useful. So I'm just going to connect to the Concordia VPN right now. So using that program, I'll just log on with my net name. And it's as easy as that. I'm now connected to the Concordia VPN, so I'll have access to different resources. So I wanted to show you a couple of possibilities. You are probably Concordia students if you're watching this video, so I'll show you how to obtain spatial information from Concordia. So if you go through the library's website and go to the research guides and then check in arts and science and geography, you'll find that there's some resources available to you. So that's it. I'll just put this link onto the web page so that you can follow that quickly. But basically, you have a lot of different things. If you go down a little bit, you have geospatial data, either that which is available from DMTI Spatial. So they have a lot of information on either road network files or land use data. Yeah, over here it's route logistics, so that's road networks for all of Canada. Yeah, anyway, I'll let you explore all those things, but you can find interesting things. But more specifically today, we want census tract boundary files. So we're going to go here because those are created by Canadian government. And we'll go down a little bit, CanVic, CanImage, census geography files. So then if we follow this link, strangely enough, we're brought to the resources at McGill. So I'll just make a little aside right now. Concordia has some resources. McGill has a ton. So if you go to their Maps and Geospatial data website, which I'll also post the link to, you can find just tons of information. You've got a little sidebar here where it's kind of organized by theme. And yeah, as you can see, the transportation networks that we had from DMTI, but also just tons of other stuff. So make the most of the fact that there are specific kind of sharing policies between Concordia and McGill, and make the most of all their stuff. So that's it. I'll put a link up for that. Anyway, getting back to the census boundary files. So we'll get some from the latest census. We'll go with Census 2006. And right now we're going to be trying to find census tracts. The way that you're going to do this is you're going to go over here, province level files. We're going to try and get some stuff for Montreal. And then what you want to do is find, sorry, it won't be very long. Here we go, Quebec, province code 24. And we'll download them at the dissemination area level. And then we'll basically just aggregate it up to census tracts. Now, you may be wondering if you want the what are they called? Digital boundary files or digital cartographic files. If you're not sure of the difference, basically it's how they deal with water bodies. And just to be a little bit more specific in how they deal with these water bodies, I'll just put something up on screen. There we go. This is from the information contained, well, basically the metadata file that goes along with the 1996 StatsCan boundary files, and you can kind of see that the digital cartographic file deals with the water bodies in a more realistic way. So we'll go back to the website and go back to Quebec and download these dissemination area level files. Oh, sorry, I was disconnected from the VPN there. So I'll just head back, refresh the page to be sure. Okay, and then we'll get the file, and we'll save it into a folder where we know where it is. Alright, perfect. Once we've got that file, we can go back to our folder and unzip it, or extract it. And one thing that I find helpful to make sure that I always remember what I have is to rename things and give them names that make sense to me. So this will be Quebec 2006 DAs. And now we have some files in there. If we go in ArcGIS, we'll be able to actually visualize them. So we open ArcGIS and we go to Add Data. And then we go to the path to find our files that we just downloaded. There we go. Add that, and we can see that we have the Census Tract boundary files for all of Quebec. So we have tons of stuff here. We have 13,408 different polygons. But if we decide that we're working on, let's say, Quebec or Montreal, just those regions, those CMAs, or Census Metropolitan Areas, then we only need a subset of them. But how do we isolate that? Well, basically there's a selection of fields which are all different kind of identifiers for these polygons. So the ones that you need to know about would be CMA UID, so that's Census Metropolitan Area unique identifier, and that basically means every CMA, like Montreal, Quebec, Saint-Jean-sur-Richelieu, probably Drummondville, Trois-Rivières, have their own CMA code. Then you've got Census Tract unique identifier, and that's it. All of the census tracts are associated to a Census Metropolitan Area. One thing that you'll notice is that there are a lot of blank fields here. That's because dissemination areas which exist outside of Census Metropolitan Areas aren't assigned a CMA, and not everywhere in Quebec is assigned a CMA. So if we scroll down, we see some CMA names appear, like 421 is Quebec, and a little bit lower we've got 430, 444, we'll pass 459 is Saint-Jean, and 462 is Montreal. So if we go here at the Select by Attributes icon, we can isolate just one of these CMAs that we want to work with. So, so that everyone's kind of familiar with it, we're going to isolate CMA UID equals 462, which is the Montreal code. And now I'm going to try something and explain why it doesn't work. So I do apply, and it tells me, oh no, an invalid SQL statement. That is because 462 is entered probably as a text field as opposed to a numeric field. So in order to actually isolate this, I need to put some apostrophes around it. So to get the proper to get it to be entered the proper way, I'm just going to go get unique values after clicking CMA, and then all of the different possibilities are going to show up. I'll go find 462, which is over here, and I'll insert it right there. Now, as opposed to having all 13,408, ARC has, or the SQL statement has isolated the 6,082 polygons that represent dissemination areas in Montreal. Yes, just to finish, so that's it. You've got the province, sorry, there we go, province unique identifier, so Quebec is 24, and that's a CSD, census subdivision. I don't think you'll probably have to deal with many of these, but here you have the smallest one, which is the dissemination area unique identifier. Anyway, so we'll take our 6,000 polygons and we'll just go see if we've selected the right region. So we'll go zoom to selected. This will just take a second because it requires some processing time. There we go. And now we see that we have the Montreal region. So what we can do if we want to just work with this as opposed to having the large all of Quebec encompassing dissemination area file open is go to Data, once we've selected it, and go Export Data. And we'll choose our location. Right. Okay. And give it a name that is coherent to us. So we can put it in the same folder, but maybe just call it Montreal 2006 DAs, dissemination areas. Right. Need to select the shapefile. That's why it didn't work. Okay. So we'll do that. Do OK. It's going to export them, add them to the map, and now we can remove the rest, and we won't have as much of a cluttered display. Okay, so right now we have Montreal, but that's it. We have 6,082 individual polygons, but there aren't that many census tracts, and when you get information from StatsCan, more often than not, it will be in, well, your smallest unit of analysis that you'll be able to get information on, either population or employment or anything like that, is going to be at the census tract level. So it's not really helpful for us to have all of these individual polygons, and actually it can be bad in a sense because we can't then calculate things with respect to their area. So what we want to do is dissolve different dissemination areas that are part of the same census tract. Now how we're going to do that is that's it. We have a field called Census Tract Unique Identifier, and if you see, there's some records that show up multiple times because they're in the same census tract. If we go see this kind of outlying tract over here. So how we're going to basically dissolve all of these into one polygon is we're going to use the dissolve tool. So that's it. Just make sure nothing's selected, or everything's selected, one or the other, and go dissolve. And then you put your Montreal dissemination areas in there. And you have to make sure to change the output feature class here so that your polygons end up going somewhere where you can find them after. Because throwing them to the default geodatabase isn't going to be helpful, especially if you're working on the P drive at school or something. So you go once again and you choose your output destination folder. And here, to make it a little bit clearer, you're basically passing from DAs to CTs. So it can be as simple as that, just change the name of the output file. Okay, so you see that appear with the full path over here. And we want to be dissolving them by census tract unique ID. In other contexts, you would perhaps do something different, and you can even actually dissolve by more than one field at a time. That's a little bit more complicated. Well, yeah, it's just something that you probably won't find pertinent for a while, so I won't go into that. What you perhaps will find important at some point soon is the statistics field. Basically, when you take all of these disparate polygons and you put them into one, sometimes you want to carry over some information from those unique polygons. Like, let's say that each of them was connected to a value for area or population or number of businesses, and then you wanted to have the sum when you aggregated them to the census tract level. Then you would select that field, like let's say this was employment or jobs. Then you would throw on the statistic type sum, or perhaps you want the average or anything like that. So this can be an interesting little thing to have available. Now we don't need anything in this case, and just a little something that I want to make clear about multi-part polygons. Basically, some census tracts are going to have portions that are going to be isolated from others by either a small river, or even in the case of Montreal, you've got portions of census tracts which are divided by the St. Lawrence. If I remember correctly, Nuns Island and Verdun are part of the same census tract, but are actually separated. So that's the kind of thing that you want to keep as one record in the output file. So by selecting Create Multi-Part Features, you're going to have polygons that are going to be kind of separate. They won't be touching, but they will be part of the same record in the table. Okay, so we do that, and Arc is going to create the output. Perfect. Now we see that we passed from having tons of little polygons to having quite a few less polygons. We actually passed from 6,082, as you see here, to 878, which is the census tracts in the CMA of Montreal. Now, if we want to see how that actually looks when you see the makeup underlying it, well, you can basically just go to any one of these polygons as an example, and since the drawing order has the census tracts on top, what we can do is just make the fill color transparent, so no fill, and change the outline to something that's a little bit more visible, make it a little bit thicker, and then you can see the dissemination areas that are underneath all of your census tracts. Anyway, so that basically covers how to get your census tracts from the internet. So now anything that you want, if you want to go pick it up for 2001 or 1996, just go and do so from either McGill or Concordia. Okay, well, I hope that this has been helpful, and in future video casts I'll try and explain to you how to obtain information from StatScan and bring it in and visualize it in ArcGIS. Okay, thanks.